Okay, I'm Johnny from Johnny's Vintage Motorcycle. What we have here is we have a 1975 Z1. Bought this bike from South Carolina from a customer we've been dealing with for a while. And they kind of put their own personal added touch to the motorcycle. So what we're going to do is, I have a customer interested in this motorcycle and he's thinking of purchase it from us and then having us kind of help with the restoration. So sometimes you can get beat up on these bikes, and sometimes you can't. Now this here is a 75, still has the original sticker on the neck. And if you come over here, this frame is almost perfect. Now later frames were drilled right here. They have a there's a little stress crack right here on the frame, but the steering pin's nice. Now remember what I said before about does the handlebars hit the gas tank? Okay, so we got a gap here and we have a gap on this side, so this is a good frame. I have reason to believe that this
Do it again.
Okay, I have reason to believe this motorcycle has not ever been in an accident. Got some kind of different stuff going on with it here and there. It does have a set of 29mm smoothbore carburetors on it right here, which I'm going to remove. And one of the dead spot-ons for the 29s is just look at the main jet access here in the bottom of the float bowl. Okay, normally 73 has that and early 74, but they have the different kind of external synchronization linkage on the outside. This is a real deal. Those are 29mm smooth bores, and those are pretty hard to find. It's got a Vance and Hines pipe. We're missing the baffle. It's got a couple decals here and there. Now if we go under the seat, the battery is disconnected, and it does have a sealed battery, which I'm a fan of. I'm not sure what that's all about, but anyway, we've got the seat latch. Everything's intact. It's got the little air filters on it and everything, but it's all basically intact. The seat is off of a KZ because we've got the studs right, or we have the bolts right here. So this has been kind of boogered in a little bit. So you got the tie wraps and stuff here. And we got the wrong hinges. This is an Allen wrench. That's not really stock to the best of my knowledge. But all in all, this is a perfect bike to restore. Because we offer the Aqua Blast thing. So we can get this all cleaned up. And of course we replayed all these bolts. So this can all be redone. Now we're on the fence. We're gonna get this thing fired up today because our customer is willing to do a cosmetic restoration, but not necessarily a mechanical restoration. So we're gonna get rid of the Honda turn signals. Just small stuff. We're gonna try to do it. First we gotta find the key, obviously. But we're gonna get into this and see where we're at with it. Feels like the front brake does work, so that's a bonus right there. So we're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna try to get fired up, and I just want to show you as we travel here what you have to look for when you're buying a used motorcycle. Even though the Z1s are starting to get kind of hard to find, it's best if you can look them over in person or buy them from a trustworthy person. Another thing I kind of want to point out, which is a common thing that people do, if they've ever laid the bike down, which for whatever reason we got some road rash here, so I don't know if this fender was replaced or maybe it was in a minor accident, but they put the fender on backwards. See how it's flat in the front and curved right here? So this is on backwards. Kind of a common thing. Got a little bit of dry rotting on the tires. This is a Ching Ching tire or something like that. So we need, and obviously they painted the spokes black. They painted this black. They painted the chrome covers black. Got an extra hole here for the headlight. I don't know what the deal is there, but anyway, we're gonna kind of get on this.
Is that original paint?
No, this has been bondoed in or something. So we should have the emblems right here. So this has all been repainted, obviously. And we do have the 73 to 75 gas cap, which is good. Underneath this gas tank, to also verify it's a Z1, you got a V cut out right here. The Z1s had a V right here where the KZs were smooth. But the stuff did fit each other, so we're just bringing this all to your attention. We're going to try to get this fired up today and see what she sounds like. Okay, thanks. Okay, we're making some progress here. We're going to get it started up, but the first things first is we want to pull the clutch apart to make sure that the clutch plates aren't stuck together. And this is an indication of how the motor is, we believe. So if you look where my finger's at right here, you're going to notice here that the oil is kind of clean, but the thing I'm trying to point out is there's no dirt here, because this goes right into the oil pan. So we're gonna pull the clutch apart, but this is not gross or nothing like that. So we're gonna pull this apart, see what the clutch plates look like, and put it back together, and put a new gasket on it. And I'll probably try to find an original clutch cover for it. As you can see, this is a finned ribbed one, and that's not really what we're into on the bikes when we try to restore them. So thanks for looking, and we'll have some more info for you soon. Okay, one nice thing we found here, which is kind of unique on these bikes. The oil filter bolt's nice. We still have the washer and the spring. O-ring looks good, and actually the threads, or the head here, is nice, and this is nice. So even though the bike is kind of painted up and stuff, it still looks like it's presentable. So we're going to put a new filter in it, and then we'll go from there. Thanks. On inspection, this is some kind of aftermarket high-performance clutch kit, and that's something that we don't use here. We like the stock stuff only. So we have some stock replacement EBCs. We're going to try these, see how this runs, and then while we're doing this, we're going to take these plates here, we're going to blast these a little bit, that way they're degummed and degreased and everything. So we're going to put this all together because I want to have a nice test drive. So everything else in here looks pretty good, and it does have a Dyna ignition. So we will proceed. Just wanted to show you where we're at. Okay. Making some more progress on the Z1. We have a customer that's interested in this. However, we want to make sure that everything is good. So if you remember, we took the ribbed clutch cover off. So now we're replacing it with all these screws. And this is all nice, usable stuff that can be polished out and everything. So now we've got the nice clutch cover, we got the inner point housing, it's nice and everything. And it's got a Dyna ignition in it. Now also, we couldn't find the key. We bought this bike from South Carolina, and somehow the key got replaced. I don't know. Anyway, so now we have a genuine Kawasaki 4-pin switch with a reproduction key. And also, when you're doing these bikes, KZ and Z1 have a different height right here on this lockdown. It's like the spacer that goes between the nut. And the reason is because of the style of the dash. Okay, but now we got big trouble. Always when you buy a bike like this, you gotta expect problems, and we got them a little bit, but not bad. All right, Kenny is gonna show you over here that the starter clutch is bad. So Kenny's gonna pull this off, and we're gonna find out what the deal is. It's usually got some caps, some springs, and some pins and stuff. We'll show you when we take it apart. I don't know what the exact name is, all the stuff, but we have the part numbers. So we may have to rebuild this starter clutch, or we might be able to replace the inner guts in it. Sometimes they'll get oblong, and we'll talk about that. So we're gonna proceed, and we'll have some more stuff for you soon. Notice that we're spinning and nothing's happening here. And there's also that chance that we just might be missing some stuff too. So time will tell.
And then as you can see, it does turn over.
But the motor does turn, which is good. So we got starter clutch trouble, and we'd rather start this with electric start rather than kickstart. Okay, now Kenny's going to show you how they put that together wrong. And so I think we can fix it up without too much work. Anyway, come here and look at this crankshaft right here. Okay, here's our Z1 crankshaft. This is a Woodruff key. So this takes the Woodruff key right here. And this is nice shape right here. Now if you go down there, Kenny will tell you about the starter clutch. Someone had this apart and they didn't put it together right.
No, this was off center. Supposed to go over like in the middle here, and they had it down here, tightening all this stuff down. So it ruined the thrust washers. One's supposed to go on each side. Bearing looks all right. This surface here is probably the culprit of it spinning. And then if you look behind you, Robin, all these rollers, pins, and springs look okay. That's what engages on that surface. But all these screws are loose, as you can see, or maybe you can't. So anyway, I think we're going to replace the gear, the thrust washers, and that collar. What do you think about these, John?
No, let's pin up, take a look at them. If we have new ones, maybe we'll throw new ones, or if we have just an assembly, we'll just put a whole assembly on there if it's a good one. You'll just inspect it. And then also, what we're going to do here is, I hate to do work twice, so what we're going to do is we have a grommet that we buy from Japan that goes in here. And I did notice that when this cover was on the bike, I saw a little bit of oil underneath on the left-hand side. And this has all been gooped and repaired and all that stuff. Now, I don't like any sealant or anything on the inside of these like this because it has nowhere to go but inside the motor. So I'm kind of allergic to that. So we're going to put a new grommet in there. You see all the silicone or RTV, whatever.
Anyway, and this piece is not available from Kawasaki?
No. Back in the day, you'd have to buy the stator to get this rubber piece. However, we do make this now. So, or we have it made in Japan. So we're going to put it all together and we'll go from there. Thanks. Okay, we got a little more progress. Kenny put a very, very nice used starter clutch assembly in here. And also, once he had this apart, of course we replaced the screws. And he replaced the starter cover grommet, as we were talking to you about earlier. And what he did was he put some new wires and connections on the stator itself. And they go through here. So we're making some more progress here. And Kenny, does it work? What's happening?
Oh yeah, it works just fine.
Okay. Well, we're making some more progress. So, okay, we're going to try to start this up. We've not heard it run. Kenny fixed the starter clutch. Got a test tank on it. Now, of course, I carry the fire extinguisher here because I don't know what's happening. And these are getting worth money now, so we don't want them to burn up. All right, he's got it on. smoking off the motor seems to have gone down. Maybe we just had some oil in the pipe or something from draining it or something.
No, it's leaking from there's a valve cover gasket, head gasket, and tack sealer, all three. I have to blow this thing off after
Okay.
it goes in.
We're gonna give it a bath and probably put a regulator rectifier in it to make sure the charging is good. And then we'll button her up and make sure she goes up and down the road, and we'll talk about it some more. Lethal threat. Okay. Now, we decided to put a hold on this bike right now. After we did all the work that we did to it, we started to put these covers on the bottom and clean it up a little bit. We got the switch in there and everything. Not only does this bike need a regulator rectifier, we have a serious problem here. If you look at the handlebar right here, you see this aluminum piece here that's hooked up to the tachometer drive. This has been busted away from the head and glued. Okay, that's why we had all the oil all over the motor when we first started it up. We thought maybe it could have been this seal or something. So where we're at now is, for us to get a decent price out of it, we have to fix it. At Johnny's, we're capable of buying motorcycles like this, but we're not really capable of selling them like this without full disclosure. So I believe what we're going to do now is we're going to put this away in storage until we're ready for it, because where we're at with it now, I think we're going to do a ground up. Unless someone's interested in it as a project, but it's not a lot of money to pay for a project bike. So the only way we can recover now, because we paid a lot for it, is to restore the bike. Now if you come around the front here, I've got the steering this way. You can see right here where my pinky is, right there. That's where it busted away. So I just, we're kind of at a standstill on this, a stopping point, or we want to say. But okay, if there is interest in this motorcycle, as you can see, we have confirmed that the transmission's good. It needs a regulator rectifier as the battery was overcharging, so we're gonna put a solid state one in. But this bike would come with a working front brake, which we took off because we were going to change the handlebars and everything on it. You can see the switches are new. So it would have, we would make the bike complete with carburetors and everything. So we do have a good transmission, we do have a good motor, but the head needs repaired. And we can do that, but we're just at a stopping point. So if there's interest, please give us a call. It is for sale. It does have a clear title. Okay, thanks.